May 25th, 2021, and this is the Arlington County Board of Equalization hearing. The first item on our agenda is RPC 01-008-016. It's the property located at 6918 30th Street. And Ms. Santomi is here to tell us about our property. You can start with your 8 minutes when you're ready.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let's see.
Ms. Johnson, can I ask you to turn your camera off, please, so you're ready to testify?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you see this? Okay. So let me go over quickly. So my property value has increased by 4% from previous year, and I don't think it's fair. The BOE memo only states my property being located within special flood hazard and resource protection area. That is why I filed, but that's not true. But if I compare it with our neighborhood recent sales and assessment values, my property is overvalued. As the memo says, my property is in a resource protection area in a flood zone. I own a 4-mile creek in my backyard. The creek has been eroding severely and I've been losing land as well. So the increase in the land value by $35,000 doesn't make sense to me. Regarding the compared properties, although the BOE memo states that they are all in the same neighborhood, actually, except one on the Williamsburg, they're not in the same locations. 3 houses are closer to the East Coast Church Metro Station. So number 1, which is number 2 here, 6929 Williamsburg Boulevard is located the other side of the creek. At the side of the creek in a much higher elevation. It was sold in October 2019 at $900,000. The lot size is more than double of my property, 13,000 square feet to be exact, but the land assessment is over $42,000 lower than mine. If I divide the sales and assessment value by finished area, not the lot size, the numbers are lower than mine. 465 for sales and 455 for 2021 and 441 for 2020 and 389 for 2019. So my assessment values are $25 to $71 in square feet more expensive. So number 2, which is number 3 here in the presentation, 6936 27th Street North was sold in August 2019 at $900,000. Finished area is bigger than mine and it is closer to the metro. It does not even have a creek. So if I divide the sales and assessment value by finished area, the numbers are lower than mine. 381, 360, and 357, and 356. So my assessment values are $104 to $124 more expensive. And number 4, which is number 3 and number 4 in this presentation, 2506 North Underwood was sold in September 2020 at $1,015,000, closer to Metro. Still, if I divide the sales or in assessment value by finished area, the assessment values are lower than mine. 488, 474, 409, and 394. So my assessment values are $10 to $66 in square feet more expensive. And number 4, and which is number 5 here, 6730 Little Falls Road is an exception, but it has a bigger lot size, 3,600 square feet bigger than mine and closer to the metro. Of course, it doesn't have the creek. So let us compare apple to apple in my neighborhood. They are all in the same area, built in 1963 with lot size around 10,000 square feet, very, very similar structures. There are 2 recent sales in 2019 and 2020. I'm not going over one by one, but they don't have the creek, and 2 of the houses, which is number 1 and number 2, are not in the flood zone nor the resource protection area. My house is overvalued by $40 to $156 in square feet. The average assessment value of those three houses are mid to high $300. So I don't think the BOE memo didn't really compare my house with the comparison houses and with my neighborhood houses. I believe my house is overvalued. In addition to my house being overvalued, I own the creek in the backyard. Since it's my property, the county cannot help me for further erosion. My property is in the resource protection area and now in the flood zone. Those houses, comparison, and my neighborhood houses do not own the creek. So the BOE memo states there is no market evidence that the creek running through the subject's property line has negative market impact on marketability. Here are some photos. Obviously, I'm losing land, but the land value is up by $35,000 from previous year. The creek is getting bigger and bigger, and it becomes a river whenever it rains. And also here is a photo of the shifted stormwater outflow pipe. It's county's responsibility, but they haven't fixed yet. It's eroding around there, and it's been polluting the creek. Understand from the memo that even though the river or creek is causing lots of issue to my property, there is no site adjustment due to the creek running through the property. However, based on the recent sales and the neighborhood property assessment values, even though most of the houses except one do not face the creek, their value are lower than mine, so my house is overvalued. Although, as memo states, my property in the resource protection area and on the 4 Mile Run Creek, the creek has been eroding severely. I'm losing land. The outflow pipe is shifted for years, and now my property is under the flood zone. I need to purchase a flood insurance going forward. So please kindly take consideration of those points, especially property values of our neighborhood when you make the adjustment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for the county, Ms. Shuttleworth?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Annette Shuttlesworth, and this year I am assigned to the subject's neighborhood. The subject property is a split-level house built in 1963, and it is situated on a 10,000 square foot lot. It has 1,806 square feet of finished living area, 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, good quality, and effective age of 1983. The property is currently assessed at $874,600, and the appellant believes that it should be lowered down to $820,000. So the appellant filed for the review last year, and she also filed for the review this year for the same reasons. The property is located in RPA. There is also a drainage issue, and the property is being located in proposed FEMA flood hazard area. And as the appellant just stated, she has to obtain a mandatory flood insurance. Last year on the review, one of our appraisers visited the property, and based on the interior and exterior inspection, he decreased the finished basement area. I believe it was over 400 square feet. He lowered it down to 252 square feet. The appellant also provided 7 comparables. Out of those 7 comparables, 5 of them had negative 5% adjustments due to the location to the busy street. They also had lower effective age as compared to the subject. Please note that the subject is located in a quiet cul-de-sac. And 2 remaining comparables the appellant provided were actually the land sales. 6830 30th Road and 6831 30th Road were both land sales. Currently, there are brand new homes standing on the site, on both sides. Also, our comparables, mainly 6929 Williamsburg Boulevard, is located on the other side of the creek. The creek also runs through the property line. And we do take note that the property has larger lot size and it has been updated, which is reflected in higher assessment. Now, this property also backs directly to I-66 and it's located on a pipe stamp. We have another sale that we have provided, which is 2506 North Underwood. That property sold for over $1 million. It's only 200 square foot larger than the subject, and it's sold in September 2020. We have another comparable that we provided, sales comparable 6736 27th Street, I apologize. That sold in August 2019 for $900. It is dated as compared to the subject. We generally do not apply adjustments just for being located in a FEMA flood hazard map. We do review case by case. There are many properties within Arlington County that experience some level of flooding with different frequency. So we have collaborated with the Department of Environmental Services, and they actually advised us that the subject property, although it is situated in proposed FEMA flood hazard map, it is not on the repetitive flooding list. We cannot make an adjustment based on past flooding. I believe the appellant stated that a few years ago her basement did get flooded. That was a few years ago, and since then she took necessary measures to prevent future occurrence of flood, and she waterproofed the basement. Also, I wanted to say that I do respect the appellant's honesty. She did email me a few weeks ago, and she did state that the employee from DES visited her property website, her property, and she did address the drainage issue. There's a dislocation of the concrete drainage pipe, concrete channel and the drainage pipe were not aligned, and the DES is actively working on addressing the issue. So thank you for bringing that up. And also, I know you will be looking at one of the comparable sales, which appellant provided, 2940 Northwest Moreland. That property sold for $775,000. Although we didn't have any reason to disqualify the sales, please be careful when you consider this comp. I'm sure you have seen our land sales provided on our analysis spreadsheet. We had 5 land sales. 4 out of those 5 land sales sold for over $800,000. The subject site is assessed at $730,000. So I just wanted to bring that up, that her lot is assessed significantly below the land sales that we had. And also the property is, the fact that the property is not in the repetitive flood list doesn't warrant the adjustment going forward to her land site. Again, we have several properties within Arlington County that are in RPA or flood map zones, and we don't just go and grant adjustment without any supportive sales. We view each case individually, and we do take due diligence, and we collaborate with the DES department. And again, so these are my main points I wanted to address, but I would strongly encourage you to look at those land sales. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members? Mr. Metzgen.
This is for the department. The appellant's, and she repeated this several times, the appellant's land value went up, simple math, 3.9%. How is that compared to the neighborhood's land value valuations from last year to this?
It was equitable with her next door neighbors. I pull out the assessments for her next door neighbors, and they increased by exact same rate. They're on same. They have very similar sized lots. So, for example, neighbor number 1, 6924 30th Street, her land increased by 3.9%. It's at $785,000. It is larger by 5,000 square feet. Neighbor number 2, she has exactly same size lot, and her land is assessed at $730,400. And I also have neighbor number 3, also 10,000 square feet lot. The land is currently assessed at $730,000.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you for the county. On your first paragraph, there was a 20% adjustment, 10% for pipe stem.
Yes, the comparable. The comparable located on Williamsburg, 6929 Williamsburg Boulevard. Yes, it backs directly to I-66.
Right.
And it's located on pipe stem. It sold for $900,000.
You also did 10% for outside influence. Was that 66?
Yes.
Okay. I guess my question is, when did the county start using repetitive flooding as a criteria? I've never heard that before.
So it was fairly recent. We had a meeting with the DES department. Well, the DES has been maintaining lists for years right now. But we just recently started collaborating with DES because we had such a high volume of reviews due to the same reason. So we started collaborating with DES. They maintain the spreadsheet and they update the spreadsheet based on the phone calls received from the homeowners. Whenever there's occurrence of flood, they record it on the spreadsheet. Whenever there's 911 call, they take they make a record of it. And there is no records whatsoever that the subject property was flooded on several occasions. It is on the proposed FEMA map zone hazard, and she does need to obtain her mandatory insurance, flood insurance, but just as many other homeowners in Arlington have to do the same thing. We actually we had to develop some kind of systematic point of reference we can look at. So because there's such a wide range of flood occurrences in Arlington and at different frequencies, we have developed classification. We classify properties into 3 groups. The tier 1 is the group of properties that flood frequently, that experienced flood on more than one occasions. The Department of Environmental Services has confirmed with us that the subject property, that the property is in high risk of future flooding. They didn't confirm that was the case with the subject. The group 1 also, the property that belong to group 1 also has another criteria. The owner has to provide documentation over several instances outside of 100-year storms where flooding or drainage issue has occurred. And if there's a man-made drainage structure on the property, such as manhole or graded storm drain or open inlet storm drain that can cause water backups, or property has damage to the interior of the house due to flooding on multiple occasions. This is repetitive. And there's a direct sales comparable. Of course, all boils down to the sales. If we can support it, if the sales support the adjustments, we we go ahead and make such adjustment. In this case, we did not find the sales that support adjustments, neither did the appellant.
Okay, that was very informative. Can I ask the owner a quick question? Is the owner, can I ask a quick question?
Sure, yeah.
How much did the flood insurance cost?
Like 1,000 or something.
What did you have to do to get it?
I just have to file.
You didn't have to have an engineer certificate?
No, I don't. I just have to call the Geico.
Okay, all right, that's my questions.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, Ms. Shuttlesworth, if you take a minute to wrap up, please, for the county.
Yes, so based on the sales comparables that we have provided and the fact that the owner has waterproofed the basement, she took necessary steps to prevent future flooding, and that the property is not on the repetitive flood list. I asked the board to confirm the assessment for 2021. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Satomi, if you take a minute to wrap up, please.
Thank you for your time today. I just want to make sure that you take consideration of our neighborhood sales values and assessment values that I presented today. And in addition to like my creek. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, it's just among board members. What's everybody think?
Mary, I'll go ahead and share my thought.
Okay.
I know about the repetitive flooding. You have some properties that are flooding constantly, and this one apparently had the one flood. But I still think it has an impact, and I do know that RPA and being in a flood zone, I think there is an impact on value. And the county routinely gives a break to properties on busy roads, pipe stems, odd shape, and so forth. So I think when you take the possibility of the flooding and the RPA, I think if I'm buying a property, I'm going to try to buy one that doesn't have these two qualities. And so I think there should be a reduction such as, say, 10%, as is done for busy highways.
Okay, I'll just kind of jump in here on the back of Mr. Lawson. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the creek was there, when the property was purchased. In addition, I mean, some people would look at that, the natural environment of it, there is marketability to it. I would lean a little bit more towards your thought if this was a 5,600 square foot lot or a 6,000 square foot lot, but it certainly has some size. So I'm not sure the fact that it needs to have flood insurance. Now, lots of properties have the requirement to have flood insurance. You write off to the federal government, it's all underwritten that way, and you get the flood insurance. So I'm not sure at this point, without hearing what other people have to say, whether I think a 10% reduction would be in order, just because of the fact that it has water going through the backside of it. But Mr. Hoffman, you had a comment?
Yeah, something jumped out when we were on slide 9 when the appellant was going through it. It looked like there's a big 20-foot wide stormwater easement running up next to the creek, and that basically goes right up against the house, or pretty close to it. So I know in the past there's been a land reduction on easement areas based on the square footage of the easement. So maybe that's another way to look at it, rather than just taking the whole land value and doing a 10% blanket reduction. My other point, initially I was looking at comp 1 and thinking that was a pretty good sale at $900,000. But I went and looked at the listing on that from before the sale, and it's like, that's a huge lot for Arlington. It's wooded. It's like you're in another county. It feels like you're in West Virginia the pictures are beautiful. It's like half acre. So I don't know, if you put that property right up against this one and put them both for sale at $900,000, I think that property was probably a good pickup at 900. and this one would be valued a lot less on a 10,000 foot lot, kind of at the end of a not a very nice cul-de-sac. So I don't know. That was just my thought. Initially, that comp looked good as the building goes, but then when I looked at the listing, I thought it was more than $25,000 difference in value there.
Thank you. Mr. Matskin.
I'm wondering if what I noted mostly was not the creek, but the erosion due to the creek. And I was wondering to myself whether DES realigning the outflow from the creek bed or whatever it is that the department has reported to us might mitigate a lot of that erosion and also therefore probably mitigate flood risk to an extent. I think oftentimes we don't adjust based on possibilities or even probabilities, but namely repetitive floods, but rather only on history, and we don't have the history yet, so I'm staying on Mary's side in this regard.
Okay, other comments? Mr. Lawson.
Very quickly, Ken, I think the county, based on the Westover flooding that whacked all those properties in this part of the county, I think the county's going to stabilize these creeks. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's happening. And I think on the EQC, that's more recent, Madam Chairman. The creek was there, but the regulations on property abutting creeks is fairly new, and the county has been greatly enlarging the areas as they've been doing more detailed work on topography and on the creeks and so forth. And so my suggestion is only when there's a significant impact on a property. My father had it on his lot, but it was only a little amount of area. One of the pictures that the applicant showed, it looked like pretty much the whole lot was encumbered by it. With that, I'll be quiet.
Okay, thank you. Other comments? Mr. Penaranda.
Yes, I actually wanted to ask Mark what his thoughts were in this. I know that he's been more, Mark, you've been more involved in the developing and, looking at specific sites to be able to build on. Would you be, what would be the impact to you and, the people that you're involved with when you're looking at purchasing a lot like this?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gates has been knocked off.
Oh, okay.
So he won't be able to answer your question.
Okay. Well, my initial reaction to this was that I think, I'm a little bit in between, because I think it does have an impact. When we're looking at, if I had a client looking at specific lots to be able to develop, looking at this lot compared to other lots that are selling for a little bit more, I think it does have an impact. I don't think it would bring just the typical buyer and say, it's okay to have a creek there. But I was thinking more of a reduction on not 10%, but 5% on the land. Based on that, I don't think 10% is, to me, it's a bit high.
Okay. Mr. Hoffman.
Just for to kind of follow up on my comment, that it looks like it's about 2,000 square feet is the easement area on the storm, the county storm easement. If it was 20 foot wide and it ran across the back of the lot, I just did some measurements. So that's, a fifth of the lot. So I'm looking at it, if you took that area and applied maybe a 5% discount or 10% on the easement area, at 10%, it's $15,000. It's a $14,600 reduction to the land.
And so give me a final dollar amount of the land.
So it'd be 860,000 even would be the total assessment, land and improvements.
I'm sorry, can you do that again? You're making a reduction based on just the land?
Yeah, I took the easement area and reduced that area only by 10%.
So you're getting a land assessment of 715.8?
It was 730 and I subtracted 14.6, so 15,400.
All right, what do folks think about that? Mr. Metzger.
I'm good.
I think it's definitive enough that we're targeting it on something that is commonly creates a reduction, and it's a modest reduction, but it's real.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it too.
All right, so I got the numbers here. I'll make a motion that we reduce the land to $715,400, which brings the total assessed value to $859,600.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Metzger? Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and I believe Mark is still off, so it's unanimous at 6-0. The assessment has been lowered to a total of 859,600, with the land being reduced to 715,400 for this year. Thank you, Ms. Tomei. Okay, how's Mr. Yates? Oh, he's joined us. Mr. Yates, are you on?
Yes,
Okay, we missed you on that last one, but we're moving on to case 2. So do we
sorry.
that's okay. Mr. Minsky, is Mr. Minsky on?
No.
Nope, he has not joined.
Okay, well, so we can allow the appraiser to go back. I don't know who's echoing, but I hear an echo. We'll go ahead and hear this case then. So the second case on the agenda is RPC 02036-016 at 5709 Little Falls Road. With the absence of Mr. Minsky, we'll go ahead with Ms. Shuttlesworth, and you can tell us about the property, please.
Sure. The subject property is a bi-level home built in 1955, effective age of 1990 and good quality. The property is situated on 11,968 square foot lot, and it has 2,658 square feet of finished living area. It features 3 full bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 1 car basement garage. The homeowner declined the interior inspection. Last year, the appellant's file for the review and corrections to the sketch were made, resulting in $39,600 decrease in his assessment. This year, the appellants are contesting the assessment based on 4 assessment comparables they provided. They state that the average assessment per square foot of these comparables are below the assessed value per square foot of their property. And they listed 4 assessment comparables: 5517 Yorktown Boulevard, 5609 Yorktown Boulevard, 5417 Yorktown Boulevard, and 5714 Little Falls Run. Although the Little Falls Run property is not a representative, it is situated on 2 separate parcels, and its total value is actually $1.48 million. So we didn't put heavy weight on that comparable. Our department provided 2 comparable sales: 2910 Greenbrier Street and 2711 North Kensington Street. They sold both during the analysis period for $1,042,700, and the second one sold for $1,050,000. While they are not bi-level, they are 1 store over the basement homes. It was not possible to bracket the style. Out of 493 parcels in this neighborhood, there were only 6 bi-level homes. And using 2-story homes as comparables was prohibitive in this case. Our assessment comparables, however, are both by level style, and the assessments support the subject's assessment. And should I do the closing statement, or I'm not sure?
No, let's wait. Let's wait and see if we have questions first. Okay, questions from board members? No? Ms. Hogan? No. Oh, we got Mr. Metzgen.
So we can go first. You mentioned her first. No?
I'm sorry?
All right, I'll ask a question. What was, for the department, of course, what was the disqualifying, if any, issues with the comparables that the appellant brought up on your
So, sure. So 1 out of 4 comparables was, I think appellant only opened 1 parcel. He was not aware that there was another parcel. So that property was disqualified automatically. Now, the 3 other comparables I did review, I did consider them. They were all inferior in terms of updates. And so the first comparable, 5517 Yorktown, it had effective age of 1950. The second one, 5609 Yorktown, effective age of 1976. And the third one, 5417 Yorktown, it had effective age of 1975. And the fact that the appellants use the averaging method, we don't do that. It is commonly known in our assessment world that this is not an acceptable practice. If all the homes were identical, then maybe we would look at this argument as valid. But because all those comparables that he provided are so different, averaging method is not a good method in valuation. And our sales do support his assessment. And it's equitable when you look at other bi-level homes in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, Ms. Shuttlesworth, if you take a second, or a minute rather, to wrap up the county.
Sure. So our department considers multiple factors while assessing the real property. And due to the differences in effective ages, quality, living areas, as well as interior and exterior features, the averaging method is not acceptable evaluation approach. And both the sales and assessment comparables that we have provided, they do support subjects assessment. The appellant has not provided any sales comparables. All those comparables that were included in his write-up were assessment comparables. And we respectfully ask the board to confirm the 2021 assessment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's just among the board members. I'll start. I mean, I just, I think Ms. Shuttlesworth kind of just summed it up right there. I mean, I don't feel the burden of proof is on the appellant. I don't feel like anything that the appellant provided makes me feel that it's not equalized with other properties on purchases, so, and I don't feel like even on the assessments that there's enough to really warrant to do any reduction on it. But what do other people think? Mr. Lawson?
Yeah, I found the staff's presentation very persuasive.
Okay. And Mr. Penaranda?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think in this case that there's anything that catches any attention to make any reduction. I think it's the increase from last year to this year is fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really see where we can make any changes.
Any other
No.
thoughts contrary to that? No? All right, then I will move to confirm the county at $1,008,700.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second by Ms. Hogan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's 7-0. Unanimous. County's confirmed at $1,008,700. Thank you, Ms. Shuttlesworth. Okay, I believe that we had Miss Telleria on? There she is. And then do we have Miss Ross on?
Haven't seen her log in either. No,
I did see earlier Miss Johnson. Is Miss Johnson on?
she is.
Okay, Miss Telleria, are you okay that we move to the fourth item on the agenda?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Miss Johnson, you can turn your camera on. Is she on?
Hi, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the third case is actually the fourth on the agenda, RPC 15007-649, 2050 North Calvert Street, and we have Miss Johnson here to tell us about her property. Miss Johnson, you can start with your 8 minutes and
Okay.
let us know what we need to know.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. So thank you for taking the time to hear me read through my documentation about my condo. I received the letter confirming that my assessment was fair and equitable with the following sales at the bottom provided. And I actually had a conversation with Taffy on the phone asking her how my assessment was $25,700 higher than the highest assessed value. And she let me know that it had to do with square footage. And I let her know that 106 has a second bathroom, and I think that affects price pretty significantly in Arlington. And she just said that she gave me the numbers between the 975, I have 975 square feet versus 906 square feet. And it was like I was in a certain bracket because I was at 975 square feet. So I do believe that while other units may be smaller in square footage, the total number of bedrooms and bathrooms and outdoor spaces have major factors when selling condos. And in the next slides, I show a couple comparisons. 106 was sold for $400,000 and assessed at $374,500. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and both bathrooms were renovated before it was sold. Unit 301 is 945 square feet. It's sold for $377,000 and it's assessed at $375,800. This is also a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and they have this very huge, very nice outdoor private area. Unit 210, which is the one below me, is 1,000 square feet. It's sold for $400,000 and it's assessed at the same amount as me. I think because I'm directly above them that I maybe got like sucked into their tax bracket because like each tier is based off of certain square footage. But this one is, again, a 2-bed, 2-bath, and it has this extra outdoor bump out space that you can see in this photo. That's like it's almost like a sunroom, and it opens out into this, they have a private walled off space. There's also the similar size condos in the area that sold recently. There's one at 3000 Spout Run Parkway. It sold for $380,000 and it's assessed at $368,300. That square footage is more than mine, and it's a 2-bedroom, but it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Another 2-bedroom, 1-bath at 1210 North Taft is 1,016 square feet, and it's being assessed at $378,000. And then another at 1210 North Taft, assessed at $382,000, and that's also a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I also wanted to kind of address that, like with COVID, I know Arlington real estate, there wasn't much on the market and condos were selling very, very quickly. And the condo directly above me only sold for $382,000. And that unit was completely remodeled in 2019. And the owners even put in nice new hardwood floors right before they sold it. And I purchased mine in 2014 and haven't honestly done a thing to it. I probably should, but and so I just wanted to compare from what my assessment history has, what's been happening. Under 2 years after I bought it, my unit jumped by $40,000, and then this year the land value actually increased by 83%. So it went from 35.1 to 64.4. So, and that's what bumped me up to the 402. I think location is a big factor too, because the building is directly across from Route 66. And I mean, many buyers have noted concerns about the noise. Even when I've tried to rent my unit, people come in and they want to see if I have like the nice windows or if they can hear a lot of the traffic noise. And because all of the bedroom windows face the traffic side. We're also on top of a river, which requires the building to actually spend extra money for flood insurance. And that's what's been increasing our condo fees every year, because flood insurance keeps getting more and more expensive. And for our building that has no amenities at all, our HOA is 360, and it's actually going to start increasing soon because of this additional requirement. I also recently refinanced my condo, and the bank even only valued it at $375,000. I included the bank with my documents, what the bank said, but I obviously blurred out all of my financial information. And so that is all I have. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Telleria, if you would tell us what the county has to say about this property.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Taffy Telleria, and I will be speaking on behalf of the county for the next 3 cases. So the subject is Unit 310 at Spout Run Terrace Condominium. It has 1 parking space, 1 storage unit. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 976 square foot model on the 3rd floor. The appellant did send in some pictures of the interior. The photos show hardwood flooring throughout, a renovated kitchen, and a semi-updated bathroom. The appellant was concerned that she was being assessed as a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit, but as you can see on the worksheet included in your packet, the property record appears to be correct. During the 2021 analysis, there were no sales of the exact same model as the subject. There were 3 open market sales during our analysis in this neighborhood. Unit 404, which sold on March 18th, 2020 for $374,000. This unit is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 796 square feet unit. It has hardwood flooring, updated stainless steel appliances, carpeted bedrooms, and an updated bathroom. Unit 304 sold on August 26, 2020 for $360,000. This unit is also a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 796 square foot model, and also appears to be fully updated. And Unit 106, which sold on October 30th, 2019 for $400,000. This sale had an assessment to sales ratio of 0.899, and this is a 2-bed, 2-bath, 906 square foot model. The subject has one of the largest square footages available at Spout Run Terrace Condominium, and due to its size, the model has the 2nd highest model-based value. Spout Run Terrace is a very small condo with only 28 units, and there are only 2 other units with the same model assignment as the subject. Historically, Spout Run Terrace condo generally sees little to no changes in value, and that given for the 2021 analysis, the starting median ratio was 0.92, a 5% increase was applied to all units at Spout Run. I reviewed all of the sales data for this neighborhood up until 2016, and I was really glad that the appellant pointed out a jump in assessed values for that year. So after reviewing the analysis completed in 2016, it was discovered that a 13% increase was applied only to the subject's model after the sale of Unit 210, which sold in March of 2015 for $400,000. It appears that the increase applied to the year was a bit aggressive. So in June of 2019, we saw the sale of Unit 410, which sold for $375,000, and we applied a 2% decrease to the neighborhood. It also appears that this unit recently resold in January of 2021 for $382,000, as stated by the appellant, and the increase applied during the 2016 assessment has caused the values to be a bit high. Therefore, the department is asking for a new reduction for the 2021 assessment to bring it back to its 2020 assessment value of $384,200. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members? No questions? Mr. Matskin?
I apologize for the department, because it's not on our sheet. If this is new information, you're now asking us to return it to the 2020 assessment level. I want to be crystal clear because it's not written. Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, other questions? No? Okay. Ms. Telleria, if you take a minute to wrap up your case, please.
Sure. I asked the board to keep in mind how limited sales at Spout Run Terrace have affected our valuation.
I can't hear us.
After being able to review all of the information more thoroughly, the department would like to make an adjustment and reduce the 2021 assessment to the 2020 assessment value of $384,200. By doing so, this will not change any order of values based on size. The subject will still remain equalized. The department hopes that this will correct the values going forward, as this is what we estimate the current fair market value.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Johnson, if you take a minute to wrap up, please.
Just thank you so much for listening to me. I just had one other comment about the storage. I know that you just said that there was a storage unit, Taffy. No, none of the units have storage spaces at Spout Run, just as an FYI, as a note. But thank you for listening to everything.
Okay, thank you. Now it's just among the board members. What's everybody think? Mr. Hoffman?
Could we maybe get everybody to mic or mute their mics if they're not talking right now? 'Cause we're getting tons of feedback right now. Okay, I think that's a little better.
Okay, whoever that was is muted. All right, go ahead, Mr. Hoffman.
I didn't have any other comments. I just
Oh.
wanted to kind of get that done.
All right, how does everybody feel about what's on the table now?
I think that's fine.
I thought that-
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think that was going to be my first suggestion, to be able to go back to last year's, because I think some of the sales of the other units justify the reduction. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm glad Ms. Telleria really did a good presentation on it.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we reduce the assessment to $384,200 as suggested by the county.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So it's confirmed to the county reduced number of 384,200, which is the assessment from last year. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Okay, do we have either Ms. Ross or Ms. Connolly?
Nope.
No? All right, then we will go to Ms. Ross's case, which is the third on the agenda, RPC 300205446, the property located at 4680 South 36th Street. And with the absence of Ms. Ross, Ms. Telleria, if you would go ahead and start and tell us about the property.
Sure. The subject is Unit A at the Arlington Mews neighborhood. It is a 922 square foot townhouse style unit with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. It is classified as the 922 Georgetown model. There were no photos submitted by the appellant, and we did not conduct an interior inspection. The unit sold during our 2020 analysis period on April 15th, 2019 for $381,000. Based on the last listing photos, the unit includes newly refinished hardwood flooring, recessed lighting, some updates in the bathroom, including a new vanity and marble top sink. The kitchen is not in original 1940s condition, but it does appear to be outdated. Unfortunately, this year, we did not have any sales of the same model as the subject in her neighborhood. It is important to note that the 922 Georgetown model is pretty rare at Fairlington Mews since there are only 3 other units that are exactly like the subject. During our 2021 analysis period, we were able to observe a very tight trend throughout the entire neighborhood. All but one sale created an average assessment to sales ratio of 0.853. The 3 sales presented in the comp sheet represent a trend that showed the need for an increase at Fairlington Mews. All sales were consistent with the median ratio. Therefore, almost the entire neighborhood received a 12% increase. All market evidence indicated a change was necessary and all models increased in order to keep model-based values consistent. After further reviewing information that we had for this case, I would like to point out a correction to the comp sheet presented by our department. On the living area square footages, the data pulled only appears to reflect above ground square footages, meaning that, for example, when looking at comp 1, the total living area square footage should be 1490 square feet. So it would be wrong to infer that a smaller unit is selling for more than the subject. Comps 2 and 3 should reflect 1,500 square feet rather than 1,000. Furthermore, we took a second look at the analysis for Fairlington Villages and Fairlington Mews and the comps presented by the appellant. The sales that occurred in Fairlington Villages, which is a comparable neighborhood, showed a total of 3 open market sales during our analysis, which sold for $405,000, $400,000, and $410,000. For the 2021 analysis year, we looked at each neighborhood individually, but given the limited amount of sales, we require the use of more data points, which is why we are considering the sales at Fairlington Villages. The main difference between purchasing a Georgetown unit at Fairlington Villages versus Fairlington Mews would be the monthly condo fee, which were $337 and $270 respectively, but they both share the same amenities. Those were the condo fees listed on the sales listings at the time of sale. At Fairlington Mews, out of 277 total units, there are only 4 units that are classified as the 922 Georgetown. This model is more rare than at Fairlington Villages, where there are 4 times the amount of units that are this exact model. We also reviewed past sales data for Fairlington Mews, which showed 2 Georgetown model sales in 2019 that sold for $381,000 and $410,750. The latter sale appeared to be more updated than most. In 2018, we had 1 Georgetown sale that sold for $362,000. Given the market evidence presented, the department asked for a new reduction to the subject. Instead of the original base model value of $370,000, the department asked for a reduction to match the Fairlington Villages base model value of $353,300. This would lower the 12% increase to a near 7% increase and would grant the subject a total reduction of $16,700, bringing the total assessed value to $408,600. This reduction would bring the values closer in line between Fairlington Mews and the other Fairlington neighborhoods. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members? Mr. Matzkin.
I think there's 7 condominium associations at Fairlington. It's something like that. Is each one an individual neighborhood? Is that how you get Fairlington Villages and Fairlington Mews, by the condo association?
So we have, like you said, 7 different Fairlington neighborhoods. And when we do our analysis, we look at each one of them individually. They're all similar. Some of them have the same style of models. So this Georgetown model also exists at Fairlington Commons and Fairlington Greens and Fairlington Villages. Fairlington Villages was the only other neighborhood that had sales for her exact model, which we didn't see at the Mews.
So, yeah, I'm just amazed how similar in style, in location, in age, that all of Fairlington is, the 3,300 or so units that you break it down so finely. On the other hand, I'm very glad that you took a look at a comparable neighborhood to come up with your conclusion. I just was surprised that you had 7 neighborhoods in such a homogeneous property. Okay, that's it. That's all I need. Thank you.
Okay, and just to confirm, what's the final amount you want to reduce it to?
408,600.
600, okay. All right, other questions? No? Okay. Ms. Telleria, do you have anything else you need to tell us?
No, just that if you would please confirm the new reduced value of 408,600.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's just among the board members. What does everybody think about the new proposal? Mr. Penaranda.
Well, I'll start. I think, when I read the package, that was the first thing that came to my attention, that, I myself don't see any difference between both Fairleightton Villages and Fairleightton Mews. Even though the condo fee varies a little bit, but I see that most of the time it does not affect that much the sales prices. Sometimes it goes either way, up or down, because there's not much difference. I mean, if there were $200-300 per month in condo fees, that maybe. But yeah, again, I'm glad that Ms. Telleria really brought this up and made the adjustment, because I think my adjustment was going to be a little bit higher than hers, but I'm good with it.
Okay, any other comments? Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The only comment that I would make is what Jose just said. Condo fees change through the years, and my personal condominium, they were way too light on the fees, and all of a sudden we caught a little bit short, and so the fees had to go up, and once we get back to where we ought to be, they'll probably go back down. So I think the condo fees really shouldn't have that much impact, and I'm good with the suggestion by the county.
Okay,
I'm good with it too.
all right. Somebody like to make or I'll make a motion. Okay, I will move to accept the county's revised number of 408,600.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Lawson is second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. We accept the revised assessment from the county of 408,600. Okay, do we have Ms. Conley by any chance?
No.
No? Okay, all right, moving to the last case on the agenda, RPC 340274449, 3650 South Glebe Road. Ms. Conley is not present, so again, we will have Ms. Telleria tell us about the property.
Sure. The subject is Unit 553 at the Eclipse on Center Park in the Crystal City area. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with 958 square feet facing the east. It contains 2 parking spaces and 1 storage unit, and it is located on the 5th floor. The department received no photos of the interior, but based on the recent sales listing, the kitchen appears to have some remodel. The bathroom is well kept and it has hardwood flooring. There is 1 exterior balcony present with views of the Capitol and the airport. The subject sold during the 2021 analysis and was considered one of the open market sales in the analysis. It sold on June 29th, 2020 for $645,000 after spending 41 days on market, and it had an assessment to sales ratio of 0.852. Some of the other sales that happened at the Eclipse included Unit 1117 West, which sold on January 28th, 2020 for $767,500. That's a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1164 square foot unit. The unit appears to have original fixtures and includes minor updates such as updated lighting and custom curtains. It also has an extensive balcony. Unit 651, which sold on June 25th, 2020 for $790,000. This unit sits on the 6th floor and has 1,252 square feet. The unit contains remodeling as well as an updated ceiling. And then Unit 152, which is an exact replica of the subject, sold on February 6th, 2020. This sold for $560,000 and had an assessment to sales ratio of 0.85. The unit contains some minor updates and it sits on the 1st floor. Therefore, there is no view adjustment or floor adjustment like the subject. It also contains 1 less parking space and therefore is currently assessed at $559,000. For the 2021 analysis, the 2-bedroom units received a 20% increase to their model-based values, while all other units went up 18%. Ratios all around were much lower, and despite our increase, the ending median ratio was 0.925. I reviewed the condominium comps listed by the appellant, some of which will be reviewed for the 2022 analysis, and although the appellant states there was a decrease in popularity of condos, there is no reason to believe that to be true at the Eclipse. All of the sales we looked at during the analysis period of September 1st, 2019 through August 31st, 2020 sold way over their 2020 assessments. This is what granted the increases for 2021. The appellant consistently refers to inequities between her unit and others, but I would like to point out that the neighboring unit 554 is currently assessed at the same value of $629,000. All exact models that are like hers range slightly depending on their current floor adjustments. The subject's model only exists east side facing in her tower and is only available on floors 1 through 6. The best comp for the property is the property itself. The subject was purchased for $645,000 during our analysis period and is now assessed at $629,000. It is still assessed at less than purchase price. That is why the department kindly asked the board to please confirm the assessment at $629,000 as fair and equitable.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members?
Yeah, I only have one for the county. The view value, what floor does that start on, and what is, because I noticed that, you know, unit, the comparable number 2, yes, it's a floor higher, but there's no other adjustment of view. So when does that, well, what floor does that start, and what's the value for each floor?
So there's 5 view values right now. Currently, it's not based on floor. It's actually based on what they're seeing. She has the monument capital view, which is the highest view value possible, which is the $25,000. Other things that would attribute to a view value would be the river, if it's a good view, if it's an average view for the river, or if it's just a plain river view. And if they're on the other side facing Route 1, there's a negative view adjustment of $10,000.
Okay, thank you.
I have just a simple, just math question, Ms. Telleria. So on comp 3, which is, you know, the identical unit, if you adjust for $25,000 for the other parking space and $25,000 for the view, that gets us to $609, and our subject property is $629. So where's the other $20 coming from?
Let me just take a look real quick. So for comp 3, there is a base value of $476,500. That would be the same as the subject property, and there's only an added value for parking of $25,000, which brings us to the 5015 for building, and the land is at 57.5. That's how we get to the 559.
So what do we have added on our unit then? So we've got, what was the base price?
$476,500.
Okay, and so then we're adding.
I'm sorry, Mary, this is Deidre, the condo supervisor. Can I just add in that the floor, there were 3 adjustments for.
Oh, the 20 for the floor.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, asked and answered. I was just like, it just seemed like such basic math. I'm like, why aren't they equalized? But I was checking you. Okay. I have no other questions. Anyone else? No, Ms. Telleria, do you have anything else that you need to tell us to wrap up?
No, I just asked the board to please confirm the proposed total of $629,000 based on the sales for 2021.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's just among the board. My only concern when I looked at it late last night was, again, I was missing the 20,000, which is right there on the grid. I don't know how I missed it, but that was my only issue. So I don't know what everybody else thinks. Anything, Mr. Fennerana?
Yeah, I did the same exact thing, and I double checked. And when you asked the question, I was like, "Where's the other number?" But yeah, they're all there. I'm good with it.
Okay. Anyone else? No? All right, then I will move to confirm the county at 6:29. The second? Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second by Mr. Lawson. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. County's confirmed at 6:29 because their math is correct. So anyway, all righty. That concludes the cases for today. Does anybody have any additional business? I just have one thing on the scheduling. So moving forward, so we don't have to do a lot of emails back and forth, that we are going to be meeting on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because of the volume of cases that we have. And so rather than normally, like last year, I would send out something before each month saying, are you available? And rather than do that, I'm going to assume everybody is available for the Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If you know for some reason that you're traveling and going to be gone and not going to be able to participate, if you could just let me know as soon as you know, so we can make sure that we have a quorum. Because again, based on the volume, these slots are going to fill up and keep us going well into October. If some of them don't settle, either we'll have to increase the number per day or increase the number of hearings. So just want to keep that on everybody's radar. So anything else, Mr. Huffman?
Yeah, I've got once a month on Wednesday, I've got an early morning call that might run potentially into the first case. So tomorrow is the first one of those. So if I'm not on right at 9, just plow forward and I can jump in on the second case.
Okay. Perfect. Anything else? Anything from the county?
No.
No.
Nothing from the county.
All right. Well, then we are finished for today. We'll adjourn 10:13 and re-adjourn tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And hopefully Mr. Hoffman will be right in there with us or a few minutes after. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Who do we got? Rose and Deidre?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to let you know, I'm sure you saw, I did the.
1 second. Can you stop the recording, Rosa? Sorry, Mary.
Sorry.